We grind on a daily. Bringing light to this world when it's raining. If you got any doubt, go ahead and wait and see. Only option is to win when you with the AC. Yeah, AC the game. Watch out, cause Big Bro is back in the game. I'm back in the city.
Alrighty. Hey, y'all, we got a special one. What's up? Episode 2, I guess 3, I don't know, 2 or 3 of season 4 of the podcast. All right. We had the Always Climate podcast. Like we always do, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever else you could do for this podcast. And then also we got to give a special thanks for the support. After that, you know, we always talk about the climber of the week. I did last time. I specifically just said I ain't doing it this week. I want Jovan to go ahead and step up and give a shout out to somebody. So Jovan, who's the climber of the week?
So I'm gonna name a few climbers. As you know, I went to Temple University. A former single digit. That's for the people who are the captains for this year, the people who are the strongest leaders on and off the field. And I got the honor to, share a few words on a Zoom meeting as they honored the new honorees of those single digits. And I'm gonna name off a few of them. First one is EJ Warner. He's a starting quarterback for Temple, for Rookie of the Year last year, Freshman of the Year in the AAC. Looking to do some great things. Son of Court Warner, great human being, great professional. Yavandi Rigby, who I played with and worked with, great linebacker, looking to do some big thing this year. Edward Sadie, starting running back. Victor Stoffel, former teammate of mine, offensive lineman. David Martin Robinson, Ian Stewart, Alex Odom, and I believe those are the only single digits that we had awarded this year. So congrats to those guys. They definitely earned it. And to have worked with them as an advisor when I was at Temple and then played with them, I'm extremely proud of that group.
Yeah, period, man. Shout out to them. I see how they got a single digit. I still don't see how you got one. But anyway.
Hey, man.
No, I'm just playing. This dude, I'll never ever be able to bench as much as him. That dude was stronger than me since sophomore year. So shout out to you too, Joe. That's dope, man. Them single digits. I think I always thought that was a dope thing. Are y'all like the only school that does it?
We do it. Colorado now does it. Deion took that. And I believe Nebraska does it now from Coach Rule. He took it from Temple.
So basically, it started at Temple.
It was like a Temple thing, yeah. It used to be a throwback thing, like a very old school tradition that the best players and your captains were the single digits. And then, of course, over time, it just got away from it. But Temple have definitely brought it back, and it's starting to spread out a little bit more.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, we got 3 guests today for a reason. All right, I had to bring back 4210 from Ottawa West. Hey man, let me tell y'all something, man. University of Toledo, man. What class are we? Are we the graduating class of 19 or are we the recruiting class of 15? I feel like you go off the recruiting class, right?
I'm rolling.
That's how you do it, right? You know what I mean? We recruiting class of 15, and let me tell y'all something about 15. We had a lot of funny stories, funny memories from them dorm days, man. So I had to bring the dorm back, man. I ain't talked to my guys in too long. So I had to bring them back for the podcast, man, because Brandon actually came to me with a very, very valuable topic. And it was just talking about life after football. And, the more I thought about having Brandon on the podcast, I'm like, man, we need to go ahead and expand and really get the guys back together, man. So we all doing different things in life. We all doing all types of different ventures, man. But it's funny because, your dad just said something, man. My birthday was a couple of days ago. And your dad was like, he told me happy birthday and was like, Brandon, your dad. And he said something like, just 7-8 years ago, you were a high school senior just worrying about football. And now look at you going to work every day. Right. So like, it's just funny, man, like how quick your life can change. And I think it's a valuable topic to bring this whole thing up. So before we get into it, man, let's go ahead and get these introductions in. I'll let y'all each introduce yourselves for a couple minutes, talk about what you're doing right now, where you're from. Some of y'all from small populations, boy. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Some of y'all are from similar to me, man. So I'll let y'all go, man. Let's start with Chandler, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You hear me, Chandler?
Yeah. Yeah, can you guys hear me all right? Sorry,
Yeah,
we're
there
having
we go.
some technical issues over here, but we're going to battle through it.
Oh yeah, period.
Yeah.
No,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, we hear you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll. All right, so everyone that does not know me, I'm Chandler Cotterman. I'm an Ohio boy. Originally born and raised Sydney, Ohio. Went to Anna High School, graduating class and or recruiting class for Toledo of 2015. Only child, only grandchild growing up. Came from Sydney, Ohio, community, very diverse in terms of culture. Transferred to Anna High School, middle school, coming in the 7th grade, much smaller kind of farm town vibe in terms of school, a little less diverse, but still right down the road from Sydney. So a lot of mutual connections, friendships, stayed in place from there. Committed to Toledo in my sophomore, going into my junior year of high school, and then met up with the rest of the boys in the pod, following shortly thereafter, and actually kind of knew Bryce and Joe Vaughn prior to coming in. We had ran into each other at some camps back in the day, got acquainted there. Kind of built
Chandler, man, you were so funny,
friendship
man.
off of that, and then coming full circle, ended up at. Yeah, right. You know how it is.
What was that dude's name, man? What was that dude's name that you
Bryce and I ended up about
Chandler?
5 feet away, sleeping from each other in the dorms.
We'll get into that too, man. What was that dude's name that you was holding at Ohio State?
Wait, jog my memory on that real quick.
We was at the Ohio State camp.
Oh my!
Hold on, Chandler. We can't hear you.
I feel like I know who you're talking about too. That's crazy.
You remember when we was at Ohio State? We went to the Ohio. We met Chandler at the John McAllister camp.
Are you thinking about the bro with the dreads?
Yes, bro.
Bro, yeah, I know exactly who y'all talking about. There's Jordan Thompson.
Yes,
Jordan Thompson. He went to LaSalle High School in Cincinnati. We played him in the state championship game my senior year. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Northwestern.
Yep. Bro, he had like 2 pick sixes as a defensive tackle in his senior year of high school, which is outrageous.
So while we wait on Chandler to reconnect, all right, let me tell y'all a little story about Chandler. So just so y'all know, us AC staff, right? Anybody listening to the podcast, AC staff, me, Jovan, Kamar, AB, Trent. I mean, the list goes on. All of us that started, way back in high school, we've always made a nickname for people. I don't know why. Like anytime we see somebody, we just nickname somebody. So when we met Chandler, instantly, it was at the John McAllister football camp. This dude just get to talking with his higher pitched voice. He just big though, like a big corn-fed dude. He get to talking. We like, bro, what? And all of a sudden, we just like, bro, that's luck of the Irish.
Yep.
We had a nickname for everybody, man. I still do it to this day, man. At East Porter, man, I hoop. I'll be like, hey, come on, bro. Big Goofy here. Or something. I'll just be like, Big Stank Butt. We got a nickname for everybody. But while we wait, man, let's go ahead. Let's move on. Brandon, what's up, man?
So for you guys that don't know me, my name is Brandon Heidecker. Originally from Columbia Station, went to Columbia High School, little Division 5 school. As for some people that don't know here, but other than you guys, I mean, this town is small. So kind of we started getting recruited junior year, committed into my senior year, and then little side story, going to a Toledo football camp during the summer. First time I met Bryce, thought he was a coach. He was all dressed out in Firestone gear, didn't even realize it. Thought was a tipping coach walking around, had that visor, the iPad, the whole sweatsuit.
It's funny. I tell my kids, man, all the time, you gotta walk around like they already know you, man. And I've been doing that since high school. That's a perfect example of that, man. Like I was walking around with my high horse on. I had an iPad visor. I'm like, what's going on, man? They like, hey, you see that dude over there? I wasn't committed yet. They was like, he's committed here. And I went right up to Brandon. I said, how you doing, man? Look him in his eyes, smiling. You know what I mean? You gotta have that type of charisma, man. Look at that. You thought a 16-year-old was a coach. That's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Confidence, man.
So what you doing now, man? Tell them what you doing now.
So currently right now I am working for Rudolph Libby Group. They're originally out of Toledo, but they opened a Cleveland office, and I'm the regional safety manager there. So our region is Huron, Sandusky to the PA, Ohio border, all the way down into Columbus now, and then extending into Kentucky. And then, so we roughly have like almost about 600 guys on our staff in the Cleveland region that we're covering. And then building a team below me. So it's running wild right now.
It sounds like it, bro. It sounds like it. I always wanted to ask you this, bro. I think I might have asked you once or twice, but Brandon, look, can we just be real, Brandon?
Hit it.
Nobody calls a C-stat but you, bro.
All right. We moved on.
Hey, Joe Bob. People like, I'm from the land, I'm from the bird, I'm from the act. That's what me and Quincy used to say. People, I'm from C-stat. We used to be like, ain't nobody saying that, bro. No, that's funny though, man. All right, Cam, what's up, man? Introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? So I'm Cameron Bell. I went to Nordonia High School. It's like a conglomeration of 3 little townships. We're just halfway between Akron and Cleveland, like literally smack dab in the middle. So I kind of grew up in both of those cities almost. I don't really claim either one. But we were an amalgamation of 3 townships of Sagamore Hills, Northfield, and Macedonia. And we kind of got, we had kids that were from all different walks of life, whether they were, white kids, African-American kids, Asian kids, pretty big Indian community too. We had kids from every single bracket of the tax bracket, played football starting in the 7th grade. I was too big to play football as one of the youths. So there's no weight limit in the 7th grade. So they finally let me put on the pads for the first time. Funny story, the first time I ever put on pads, it was the old girdles where you had to put the pads in the girdle.
Yep.
And I put my butt pad in sideways and practiced for like a whole week with that butt pad running like along my butt crack instead of like on my tailbone. So for you guys that are just playing football for the first time, it happens, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah, committed at the end of my junior year, going into senior year of football. I really liked Toledo, decided that was where I wanted to spend my time, and was lucky enough that they had a spot open to join these other 3 jokers, along with Ramon Miles. Shout out Ramon. Go play ball there. I had a great time and loved it. Now I'm back in my hometown. I work at the high school. I kind of am a jack of all trades, so to speak. I started in the computer department. When they had staff shortages there, I moved up to working in the special needs department when they had a staff shortage there. Now I'm working with the security team, just keep monitoring over the school and everything like that. God. It's a crazy life, man.
I dare somebody try Cam Bell. You finna run into a brick wall.
Yes, sir.
Man, I got stories for everybody, man. Chandler, you missed my story for you, man, but I got stories for everybody. So Cam, I might have told you this one, but as soon as I found out you was my roommate, I called Jovan. I'm like, Jovan, bro, guess who my roommate is, bro? He like, who? I said, bro, you remember when we was at the Nordonia track meet, bro? This dude was massive, bro. This big old 6'8" dude. He was like, yeah. I said, bro, this dude my roommate, man. Ain't that crazy? I'm like, bro, we never thought we was gonna see this dude again. This dude was huge.
Right.
And this dude my roommate. But yeah, man, it's funny that you say that, Cam, about the spots, man, because I was the last lineman commit. I wasn't trying to go to Toledo for real. Obviously it worked out for me, but man, me and Jovan, to be honest, we really just wanted to play with each other. And Coach Campbell and Coach Manning, they was not feeling Jovan.
Man.
They wasn't feeling me. I'm like, Coach, I'm not committing unless it's Jovan. And they was like, well, it's too late now. We just got our 5th O-line commit. I said, oh well. All of a sudden, they like, that's it. I was like, that's it. They was like, you sure? And then it was like, why don't you come up for a camp? I went up to the camp, saw Brandon. That's when I met Brandon. Saw the environment, heard the music playing. I said, Coach, they don't want to commit. All of a sudden, they got a spot. Like, what? So, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed because really, I would have never met y'all boys, man. Like, really they ran out of spots and they made a spot for me. So I'm blessed because we had definitely built a brotherhood, man. So I don't know how it would have been without y'all, because me and Jovan would have went to the same school, probably would have been sheltered, would have never really expanded, worked with other guys. And that would have hindered us, even in our own development. So I'm glad it worked out, man. What was you saying?
We talked. No, I'm about to say we talked about that a lot, bro. Like as far as like our development and coming together, but like as being the one that wasn't good enough to go to Toledo on this podcast.
As
great.
being the four that weren't good enough to go to Temple, you talking about?
We were 2 wins before I got there. I'm still bitter. Okay. But great individuals, great players. I want to know from y'all individual story, like why y'all went to Toledo. And of course I know Bryce's story, but how did y'all get there?
So I'll take it first. So I remember Coach Manning Campbell kind of recruited me. So it was like junior day. Like I know, like I think it was all like high school coaches go down to like Columbus for the Coaches Association meetings and workshops, and it was like when my head coach met Coach Manning, and then next thing you know, Coach Manning, Coach Campbell are coming in, and then Coach Manning ends up being like texting me one day, and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna come work you out at like 6 a.m. in high school." Dude, you're like 6 a.m. Like what? Like what are you talking about? And like so it'd be like a 2-hour workout. Like it's like 8:30. I'm gassed, and Manning's like just standing across armed, like wow.
That should be illegal, bro. That should be illegal, bro.
Like,
Right.
After 2 hours of just nonstop, like and it just like Manning and my head coach and me. So it's just like 3 guys in a weight room just working out, and you're just like as a high school. I just remember sitting, I'm like, geez, man, it's kind of awkward, just kind of hanging out. But then at the end of the day, it worked out just because like I guess the pressure there, but also like the coaching staff, that atmosphere, Coach Manning, Coach Campbell. I mean, they were different from any other coaches that I have. Like when PJ Fleck was recruiting hard during that time. Like, dude, calling at like 5 a.m. Twitter DM at 5 a.m. a quote every day.
Thanks, bro.
I mean, they were chill. So that's that's what stuck out more for me.
You ever heard the story? Did I ever tell y'all a story about PJ Fleck calling my house at midnight?
And
Man,
Pops
y'all-
being like, don't
Yes,
ever
bro.
do that again.
Jerry
Don't
Harris-
ever do that
Jerry
again.
Harris was mad, bro.
He said, "What is wrong with you?"
Ever.
We already didn't like him, but then he did that.
Wrote
They
about-
thought that- But guys, eat that up, man.
Yeah.
They like, oh man, he really cares about me. Man, my dad was like, I got work at 6:30 in the morning. That's just funny. But why
Jerry
did y'all
Harris
choose
called
Toledo?
rivals and said, "Take the offer off the board." He ain't going
Please,
there.
just eliminate it. Like, don't even make it an option, man. Why did you choose Toledo, Chandler?
To echo what Brandon said, I chose Toledo for the coaches, and that's probably exactly what you shouldn't do, as we learned. And the group that
Real
Brandon named, Matt Campbell, Tom Manning, and then just going right down the lineup, they were a group of stand-up guys, truly, and I still believe that. And you look at the success they've went on to achieve at a different program, right? And it just validates that point. But I think as we will get into deeper in this podcast, that we all kind of realize that maybe we did choose Toledo for the coaches, but through the ebbs and flows, the transitions, the major changes in the game, we had each other's back, and it became a brotherhood. And that was the reason we chose Toledo. It was no longer because of the coaches. It was for these guys right here and everyone else, the 105, the 120 on that team. That's why we chose Toledo. Tom Manning, love him. Matt Campbell, love him. But that came to not be the reason why we chose and stayed at Toledo. So
I that's you and me, man. I resonate with that right there, because I mean, I'll tell anybody. People still ask me, why did you choose Toledo? Did you like it? I'm like, yeah, I liked it. It was cool. But I really chose it for the coaches that didn't coach me for the majority of my career. Like, I chose it for those guys. I mean, really, like, that's how good of guys they were, man. Like, I mean, really, like Coach Manning, every other coach, like, yeah, you're gonna play your freshman year, or you could play your freshman year, maybe, right? Manning was like, yeah, I don't play any freshmen, so don't expect it. No smile, no nothing. He just, yep. We want you though. You're unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, you're unbelievable. But yeah, freshman year, you're not playing. And
But along with
we
that,
like that, man.
100%. And along with that statement, there's like a standard of respect that goes to laying that expectation from day one, right? Like, don't come in thinking you're playing. You have a full year of development before you step foot on that turf in a game. So I think as a leader, like expectations and standards being outlined from day one, like he did that, right?
Also think about that D line freshman year. S and O right across.
You know what I want. You know what? Before Cam goes, we talking about Coach Manning. Y'all know a couple of us lost weight, right? I lost 80. And my thought is, man, I'm an O-line coach. I can't stop thinking about Coach Hallett's comment, bro, about Coach Manning. The first day we met him, he like, oh, he's a skinny coach. We don't like skinny O-line coaches. Don't trust if he's a skinny O-line coach, he sucks, right? Man, I'm like, man, Coach Hallett. So now you ain't rocking with me because I'm an O-line coach and I'm skinny. I always think about that. I don't know why, man. I want to say that to him, but I don't know. But what's up, Cam? Why did you choose Toledo, man?
Yeah, just kind of along the lines of what Brandon and Chandler said. They came in. I was lucky enough. I had a couple other kids that I were graduating high school with that had the opportunity to get offers. So we had some eyes in the school halls. And, my high school coach did a real good job of, helping kids with recruiting. I think there's some high school coaches out there that kind of just like to put stuff up on Twitter just to say, I get them all guys all these offers. I'm not taking shots, just, But our high school coach, he did a really good job with that. And obviously, thank the Lord, I was given the massive gift of size. So I was a guy that got on the radar pretty quickly. And yeah, like Brandon and Chandler said, like just the energy and the infectiousness that those coaches had. I think Tom Manning was the first guy to recruit me that talked to me like I was an actual person and not just a commodity of a football player.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't even think our first conversation was even about football. Like I think it was about like the stupid hoodie I had on that day, and he was like busting my balls for it. Like, and it made me feel comfortable. And just like you guys said, like I think about it this way: I committed for the coaches, but I stayed for the players because like there were some dudes in that room that like in the offensive line room, but just, like man, like I think about even like the linebackers, like dude, like I would like offensive linemen and defensive linemen aren't supposed to get along, and like we didn't talk to those guys like Brandon was mentioning, like Hassan, Big O, and Big Cove, but like they still made you feel like you were a part of the team and you were a family. So that's why I stayed. I feel like.
Yep. And you don't really get that college experience in high school, man. At least at Firestone, I can speak to Firestone. I don't know about y'all, but like that piece, man, like everybody's cool. That's not how it is, and especially at Firestone. But you got that at Toledo. Seniors and freshmen could have a full conversation, right? So, some guys wouldn't talk to you or more or less, but at the end of the day, you still could have that civil conversation, especially if you were playing or at least if you had some type of talent and skill, especially. I want to move on to these recruiting stories, man. If y'all have any, I have a question. Okay. Because I will admit, like I said, I like being transparent, especially on this season, man. I'm trying to be more transparent. I can't speak to any of you in particular, but I will admit constantly during recruiting, especially the official visit and spring game, comparing myself to you guys and saying like, I'm stronger than you. Or, yeah, one-on-one, I got you. Like against Lamar Davis or something, right? Like, yeah, like we cool. Like, what's up, bro? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm better than you, right? Did y'all have that ego to y'all, or was it just me, or what y'all thinking, man? Like, did y'all have lack of confidence, too much confidence? Because some of y'all, like I said, I can't speak to anybody. I can't think specifically, but some guys, I'm like, dang, am I really D1? Like, really probably was all three of y'all. Like, y'all dudes taller than me. I'm like, am I really supposed to be D1? But then there was other dudes. I'm like, yeah, I'm better than you. So, like, how did y'all feel during recruiting?
So, like, for me, like, starting off, like, walking into, like, some of these facilities, man, like, it was more, like, overwhelming for me in the sense of it. I mean, as, like, coming from a high school student who you're, a top athlete, we're getting recruited all the time. Like, you obviously have a confidence to you. You have some I guess, a little bit of swagger to you. Have like you're going to a new place, and all you know is yourself. So like, and you're not knowing these other recruits, like potentially be your teammates, but like the overwhelming of like some of these rooms, the situation, what they have, like the weight room in general. Like I remember walking into the weight room at first and like trying to meet Rudy. That was overwhelming, man. Like the spring game, sitting there all on a knee together. It's like our recruiting class, and he's just telling everybody to strip their like state championship rings and like stuff like this.
I couldn't wait,
so
bro.
like once I like settled in and got comfortable like with the new surroundings, like that's when I started like gaining more and more. And I definitely like stepped up with like, I guess Coach B was a huge one. Like Rudy mentally got you there, but like Coach B gave you that confidence. So that's like when I started settling in really there.
Rudy Wade, man. Wow, what a name.
So to kind of speak on myself, a little too much confidence coming in. I think, even coming from a small school, I'm like, I know I'm strong. I was a little small, maybe not small at the spring game when we came back before we got rolling, but senior year, slimmed down, kept the strength, knew I could get back up, thought I was going to come in, be a dog. Then got humbled quick and probably went from too much confidence to a lack of confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I faced some trials and tribulations early, right? Like, got mononucleosis and hand, foot, and mouth disease. Like, who gets that?
Oh yeah, hey bro, I forgot about that, bro.
But literally, so I come in with the confidence, right? And crush summer workouts. Like we all battled through. You know how it is coming in, right? You're not ready for any of that, even if you think you're ready. But you come in, you get rolling. We crushed it, and I'm like,
don't say we. I got murdered.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I did not crush those summer workouts, bro.
Come on. I'm
you
in
did
power.
though. No, you did. You did though. You did though. You crushed it. You crushed
for a group of freshmen, at the end of the day, we had the right attitude, right? Like even if we're just referring to this group right here, like we might have been getting our butts kicked a little bit, but we were still grinding, right? And that effort, attitude, toughness, our motto, on the wristbands, right? Like that's real. And so I kind of went from too much confidence, got humbled a little bit in summer workouts, and then fell to a lack of confidence, right? Because I'm thinking, you guys are my boys, but I'm like, what do these guys think about me? Do they respect me? They think I'm soft, right? And then those thoughts, you know how that is, man. Like you manifest that and you think about that. And it took me time. It took me that whole first year to build that back up. And truthfully, like after Manning, Campbell, everyone left, that was an abrupt shift in the dynamic of our team, right? But for me, I kind of looked at it as a clean slate, right? Because I'm like, man, I did not, and whether it was in my control or out of my control, maybe get off to the start that I anticipated, but I'm good now. And with a whole new fresh set of coaches, minus Coach Candle in here, like it's time to start fresh. And it's time to re-empower myself to be who I am and who I know I am. Because that too much confidence, that was probably a little bit of arrogance initially. Some of that was real and some of that was true. And there was dog in me, but you have to pull that out, right? Yeah. So
I say it all the time. We D1 for a reason, man. Like we was D1 for a reason. That's what I used to tell myself, like, especially as a freshman. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm here for a reason. Like, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm here for a reason. I don't care. What we say, Joe? I don't care who you are.
I don't care. You gonna get this work.
Go get this work. No, that's dope, man. It's funny, Chandler, you talk about your size as a recruit. I got stories, man. I got stories for days that I've just never told y'all. But like, man, I'll never forget meeting you at an official visit. Talking about creatine, you arguing with Chad. Mind you, I'm little too. I'm a little body. You like, you need to do this. I got you. Chad like, nah, don't do that. I don't care what Chad say. I don't care what you say. All I know is 3 months later at that spring game, we got out the car at the same time. Before we got out the car, my mom was in the pastures. Got out the car. My mom was like, oh my God, Bryce. Look at Chandler.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at you. I said,
you went super.
That's when I went from, oh yeah, I'm gonna be all right. And then that's when I saw you. I'm like, dang, I ain't working hard enough. Because he just blew up, bro.
No,
to their defense, dude. Think about like all the like the the stereotypes. Like, you want to lift as much as you can, get as big as you can, but like no one sits there and tells you like what to eat, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I
facts.
remember like some people are telling you to get as big as you can, dude. I'm eating like 2 chocolate milks like at lunch and stuff. I mean, that's hurting you. It's not doing anything good because like
Tom
obviously
Manning.
you're not.
Yep. He told
I
me
mean, they would tell you to get as big as you possibly
PB
can.
and
But you're not
J's.
realistic. Yeah.
You
What?
literally had PB&Js in every class, bro.
Can't say I ain't coachable, bro. Can't say I ain't coachable.
Yeah.
He told me to eat peanut butter jelly every
Had 'em
second of my
every-
life. That's what I did.
Every day.
And that's why I had that flat tire on my stomach for 7 years. Cam, what was your thoughts as a recruit, man? You was the biggest dude. I'm curious to hear what you had to say in your head.
I have always lacked self-confidence. It's one of those things that just it's a problem area for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those things like I always self-deprecate just because I think if I tell these people I'm not that good, and then if I say I screw it up or I mess up, they're not going to be let down as bad. So that was one of those things of going in. I wasn't like, I didn't look at guys and be like, my kid's puny, I'm gonna crush him.
Yep.
It was more of like, oh my god, like dude, like tie a knot in the rope and hang on, man. Like that, like I think that was the only thing that got me through that first year, man. I broke my foot my senior year, like didn't lift a weight, didn't run for nothing. Came in, I was way overweight. Rudy was picking on me every single day.
Oh, Rudy,
I was huge. Oh yeah, man.
Rudy
like I got it bad. But it was one of those things like my greatest trait that I think I have is dude, I'm so stubborn when it comes to doing work. Like, hey man, like you committed to this. You signed your name on that piece of paper saying you were going to do this and you're going to get this done. Like you got to walk, you got to crawl, whatever it is, get it done. I wasn't even in the mindset of, oh my God, I'm going to be the all-star practice. I was just trying to make it through practice, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that. You and me, man, we was the young bucks on travel squad.
but Young Bulls, baby. Shout out Brent Weiss.
That ain't had nothing to do. That ain't mean nothing on from Friday lifts though.
No, man. Dude, I still give my kids at school like horror stories of like Roosevelt Griffin like skipping reps on 4 sets of 16 squats. We all had to go out and do Razorbacks
in the cold, bro.
In like 30-degree heat or 30-degree cold at like 6:30 in the morning.
I'll tell y'all where the first time I felt like I let the team down was I was second string, you were second string Cam, man. We had them Friday lifts and all of us had to do them perimeters. And the only 2 linemen that missed was you and me. The 2 guys that probably should have made it. Yep. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was out of shape. You two always been better runners than me, Chandler and Brandon. So from that aspect, it didn't make sense. But just the fact that I was second string, I'm like, bro, I gotta lock in, bro. I really felt bad that day, man. But I mean, what can I say? We was refueling with chocolate milks, bro. Like, and mind you, I'm grabbing 8. I'm grabbing 8 for the whole day. So that wasn't ideal for my stomach at all. But let's talk about now we at Toledo. What's some highlights? What's your number 1 highlight or 2 highlights if you have them from your time being up there? It could be on or off the field. I would say for me, I think, and this isn't like just so y'all can understand what this question means. Like for me, it was definitely that knee injury for me. And it wasn't a highlight, but that's like a big story of mine that I tell everybody about because it's just crazy, bro. Like, you know, we all love Adam Barton, but like, and his team, they do everything they can. They did their job, but it's just crazy. Like, all you got to wonder is what type of player would I have been, right? I messed my knee up in 2018 against Central Michigan. I'm watching the play right now in my head, 48, pulling around. Literally the most petty little ding messed my knee up. I went all off season, all spring ball, all summer, knee pain. My knee keep blowing up. My knee keep popping. We doing stretches with Christian. Right foot over left knee. Pull it in. You know what I mean? Pulling the knee in. I'll get done every time. Pop. Like it literally would lock and I would straighten it out. It would pop. I'm like, why is it doing that? Why did they keep telling me it was my IT band? And that's my question. That's my question. Why did I never get an MRI for 8 to 9 months of my time there? Why? So I think that's a highlight because it really made me, for a long time, I blamed them instead of just worrying about myself, which obviously to some point I can blame them, but I was so invested in them that I was not focused on myself and my own development. So I think that's my highlight because it really put in perspective, man, that like at the end of the day, you got to control what you can control. And that was a true lesson of that. We talk about that all the time, especially in football. Like that was a true lesson for me because all I wanted to do was just blame them and just get mad at them. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to play football, it is what it is. I got to go get better. I got to miss my senior year and make a decision if I want to come back or not, which obviously I did twice, which was crazy. Let me tell y'all, I don't think there's ever going to be a time as I look at this agenda for me to say 7 years of college football. Hey, Toledo, if y'all watching this, I love y'all, right? I love y'all. But 7 years was crazy. Like I definitely did not enjoy my 7th year. I'm just going to say that now. All right. Did I love the fans? Yes. Did I love the team, my teammates? Yes. Oh my God. I loved my teammates and my coaches. I loved spending time with them. But my head just was not in it. Like y'all all were gone, bro. I'm telling you, I was with little bros left and right, everywhere I turn. What's up, little bro? What's up, little bro? Like everybody, like they all was young bucks from when we was playing. And like I'm graduated with Tyson Anderson. What? You know what I mean? Like, why am I playing my last game as a Rocket with Tyson Anderson?
Grandpa.
He was a young buck. I was a starter in the MAC championship. He was a little dude. You know what I mean? Why am I playing with them? 6 years, that's cool. 7 years was too much. So anybody think about 7 years, do not take my advice. Do what you want to do. But it was too much. I should have left after 6 years. I should have went to the NFL and made my shot. Probably would have made practice squad, and that would have been that. 7 years. But I digress. Bro. What highlights y'all got? What highlights y'all got from Toledo, good or bad?
I can lead us off. This is going to sound generic for number one, but the brotherhood, the community, and understanding the importance of culture, right? Truthfully. And selfishly, just speaking for myself, being an only child, only grandchild, like had a lot of friends, teammates growing up, but certain characteristics, traits that come from that, right? Like I needed brothers and I needed guys that could be my friend, but also a mentor in a sense too, right? And Bryce, Brandon, Cam, like being friends, brothers, roommates with y'all, like y'all taught me so much, right? Humbled me in ways when I needed it. Like that was huge, right? And from Coach Campbell, day one, culture, everything. And we're like, man, get it, right? Like culture is important, right? But as we go on in life and in business for myself, like culture is everything. And what you set as the standards and expectations in your business, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work a career and whatever it may be, it's everything. And it determines your success, your happiness, and everything else that's important to living a full, fulfilled life, right? So first and foremost, that. And secondly, to echo kind of what you said, Bryce, and we all know kind of my story, right, was the confidence I had to build and instill in dealing through some of my trials and tribulations, and especially in particular my back injury that ended up causing my early retirement, right? And the whole time we knew it was serious, right? But the expectation was the expectation was I was coming back that season when I couldn't feel my right leg, but we all knew that probably wasn't happening, right? And 4 months down the line, going to a back surgery at 21 years old, been 21 for a couple of weeks at this point, and come out of that successful. I'm healing, nerve function is reactivated. Thankful for that, right? Because that could have been a life altering thing for me physically. And over the next year and a half, battling through some of the same scenarios that you described, right, Bryce? And knowing how I feel and knowing myself, but also having the weight of I cannot let my brothers down. Like whatever I need to do, like I have to keep the support for my team, my brothers, right? But I just don't know if I can do it, right? And dealing with that, I mean, you talk about challenging mentally, right? Like for me, and to put it in perspective in terms of some of the other people's stories, it might not sound crazy, but for me, that was a true like chapter in my life that built who I am and helped me rebuild who I am and who I am today, right?
Mm.
And just knowing that I am where I am, I can control what I can control, but I cannot back down from this hill that I'm on because I have to stand for what I believe in. I know that it is probably not safe for me to go back on this field. And I know that Bryce, Brandon, Cam all would not want me back on this field. And it took me time to realize that, man. And once I was able to fully conceptualize that you guys, one, believed me and knew the situation that I was in and knew that it
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's tough, bro. I know what you're saying,
That
because
was
it's
huge.
like people think you might think people think you soft.
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's one of those things, and not to like dig too deep into stories or anything, and I certainly don't want to bash anyone, but I vividly remember sitting in the stall in Larimer, and Coach Hallett is at the urinal with Z, and he's like, Z, what we got to do to get Chandler back, man? Like, come on, like you're rolling, and Z's powering through something that is indescribable, right? And I have a ton of respect for that, and that goes unsaid, but I know where I'm at, and I know that if I step foot on that field and re-injure my back and neurologically injure myself any further, I could be paralyzed, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
That's stressful, bro. That's
Yeah.
and the
stressful.
image, like watching you, like I remember, like watching you pull around against Tulsa and dragging your right leg the whole time, like
numb.
knowing that's not good. Like
It's not good.
no human being is just dragging their leg mid football game in a battle,
You
trying to get a comeback win, and he's dragging his leg trying to pull to hit somebody. Like we
you
all
do
knew that was
not
not good.
you do not have to go to med school. You don't have to do a residency program or a
Yeah.
fellowship to know that is not good, right?
It's not.
And
It's
so
not.
we all knew from a baseline logic standpoint, and I realize it now. Now, like I said, after conceptualizing the full scenario and years on the line, you guys have my back all through it. But it was me, right? It was the pressure and the weight that I had put upon myself of I cannot let these boys down, but I am not good, right? And battling through that dynamic, like I said, has helped me find myself again and build a level of confidence that is indestructible. It's not arrogance, it's confidence, right? I know who I am, I know what I'm capable of, I know what I can achieve, and I will stand for what I believe in. And this is the most important point. I will stand for what I believe in, even if I'm the only one on top of that hill, right?
Mhm.
And I think that is important to stay true to who you are, your morals, your values, no matter if you're one with 100 people around you or you're one up top with 100 people looking up you like, what are you doing? You got to stand on that hill alone if you need to. Period.
Right. Period. What's some other highlights?
So building off culture, I mean, just from like the workplace in itself now, like for like my company right now, like I will work hours. Like I don't care how long it is to get the job done that day. But like I know the culture that's inside that building is supportive. They're there. They're always interactive. There's always a positive vibe going in there. So I think going back into it, culture deals with a lot of it. Like walking into that building, I remember like 2018 when we were like went from high going into the second round of conference play. We're 4-1, and next thing you know, we just go end up being like six. Or I think we were 500 there with the bowl game that year. So I mean, like that locker room was low after that.
Mhm.
And then just like so going from that, and then like for building on the knee issues, like I tore my MCL 3 times, twice in one season. Like first time battling for camp, like you're in that high in this camp battle, especially the young buck, you're battling with some older guys. Like you're competing against Ola, you're competing against Brant. Like those are guys that like who've made a name in their program already and like have stated that. So like as a young guy, you're trying to push your name up into those conversations. So like when you get like injured, you're like, dude, that's a serious blow. But
Right.
then like that's all you're thinking of like is like, hey, what can I do to get back with this team? Like, fortunately, Chandler was injured literally the week that like right around that same area, so like we didn't have a guard for that too. So like I had to be back for like Howard camp. I remember Howard coming to me, hey man, you're gonna play guard. Like I finally get clear. I have 2 practices the week of Miami U. I'm like asking Chandler where to go. I got going against Marquise, just getting whooped every day.
And I don't know
just
either.
like,
So
yeah. And like next thing you know, how it goes. Nate goes down, like Nate Jetson goes down with like dehydration of what kind of weird Nate disease or injury Nate had that
Brandon,
day. And I'm
man,
like,
you used
Getting
to
that 60 sticker, baby.
nothing used to frustrate me more than Brandon's resets, man. Brandon, you could not reset, man. Oh, you used to
no,
frustrate me. I should be like, Brandon, get it together, man.
no. But like just rolling in and then like going from the high of highs to lows to lows, trying to just manage that. Like going in to be a starter and then literally 4 games later, NIU, we're beating them. And next thing you know, I tear my MCL for a second time. Like
I used to hate
in
seeing
5
y'all go
seasons.
down, man. I mean, every time, I mean, just not just y'all, but like, man, I just hate injuries. Still to this day. I just that's one thing I can't stand is injuries. Um, I don't know, man. You know, before when all y'all was getting hurt, before I got hurt, you know, I used to tell myself like, why not? Why am I not getting hurt? Like I'm the knock knee guy. Like I should be getting hurt. And sure enough, I jinx myself. So that's my tip for y'all. Don't say that. Just
Yeah.
let it be. If there's somebody's hurt, feel bad for them, but don't say, how come I ain't hurt yet? Because I did that. And
Yeah.
I think I jinxed myself.
That was like that's like the second time. It's more like oh man, it's a flink, like or a fluke. Like you're just sitting there like trying to think, play it off and be confident, get back to the team. Like but after like the 2018 season for me, man, was the roughest. I mean, after going out to Fresno, play 5 offense, I remember I tore it again for the 3rd time. I remember Bryce is like, you good? I'm like, good. And they call a counter. And I'm like, dude, you got a bull like
Uh,
on the counter. I mean, that's not good. So like 2018 tried me the hardest. I mean, with surgery and that such things. But like at the end of the day, you realize like football is an end of you. Like there's more to football outside of football. And I guess people got to realize like there's goals and make it like the NFL is a bonus, I believe. Like that is something that you put all this hard work and dedication to during college. You get your schooling paid for. You get to get to do all these experiences, traveling, bowl games, meet people, meet different people from around the world,
mm,
make friendships, like brotherhood, and then like I feel like the NFL is a bonus to that, just because it is a small percentage that do make it with the reward of that millions of dollars or a couple $100,000. So
Joe, I know I told you this, man. I know I told you this before, but I agree with you. And I got a good way to compare it. If anybody ever is younger than you and you want to give them that advice, this is what I tell people. And y'all know Vitaly Gurman. I know y'all ain't played with him, but that's y'all would have loved him playing with him. That's my brother too, man. Like that's my guy. So I still check in with him. That's the one dude that I really connected with. And side note, since y'all don't really know much about Big V, y'all thought y'all worked hard. I thought I worked hard. I ain't never seen nobody work harder than him. Not even you, Joe. I never. So he pushed me my senior year. I thought I was big dog. He came and was like, "Hey, bro, I'm lifting with you." And he only did that just because he knew I was the top dog and he wanted to get in my head to show me that he was the top dog. To be fair, I still was the top dog, but I would say, like literally fairly, we were the top dog. He had me in bench. I had him in squat. He had me in the straight running. I had him in the lateral running. He had me in the brute strength. I had him in the mind game, right? But I say all of that, man, to for this little comparison to the NFL. When I decided to stop and I was going through the knee injuries and stuff, and he was like, "Bro, you got to come to the league with me." Blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, I look at the NFL. I look at football like a buffet, right? To play high school football, that's like your first plate. Like that's like I'm about to go get this fried chicken, this mac and cheese, and that's gonna be my first plate. Second plate, you like, all right, I'm kind of full, but I ain't satisfied yet, right? I want some more. So you go to college, you play your college career, and if you're satisfied after that, you done already ate the steak, you done got to eat the rolls from Golden Corral, right? You ate everything. There's one last thing that you didn't get to try, and that's them all you can eat ribs at the buffet. And I look at the NFL as them all you can eat ribs. I'm full. I'm stuffed. I literally ate steak. I ate rolls. MAC championship. all Mac, right? I did all of this. I ate so much. I'm very satisfied. I'm almost greedy to go get those ribs. However, it does sound good. So if I'm healthy, if I'm good, I'm gonna go get them ribs. If not, I'm all right because I'm satisfied. So that's how I always told him. So now to this day, he's still in the NFL. And to this day, I tell him good luck or something. I'm like, bro, good luck during camp. He said, appreciate it, bro. I'm still enjoying them ribs for us, right? So he's doing it for me too. So that's a good way to compare it, man. That last little plate is something that none of us got a chance to taste, man. We ain't get a chance to taste, but I hope y'all was fulfilled with y'all little plates that y'all got, because I know I am. I'm good. Do y'all miss football? Be honest. Like, do y'all miss? And now we talk about everything and everything that come with it. Do y'all miss football? I don't, personally. I miss some parts, but if I had to say, do I miss football? I don't miss football.
I'd agree with that. I do not. There's some parts that I miss, but overall, I enjoy watching that game now.
What about you, Chandler? You got cut real short. Do you miss football?
Initially felt very unfulfilled at what I had accomplished on the field. But kind of going back to what I said earlier, after having time to fully process it all, I checked every box I needed to, right? I achieved something that not a lot of kids get to do out of a graduating class of 85, small town, Ohio, right? Check that box. Full ride Division I scholarship. Check that box. Was the first in 30 plus years from my school that had done so. Got on the field, started, played early, was cut very short, but check that box. And then going forward, I mean, after that, it's, what could it have been? Played only a couple games, started only a couple games. What could it have been for me? But after realizing that all the traits and the skills and the characteristics that are either built or strengthened through football can be transferred to life and business and your purpose, I was good.
Oh, that, because we're gonna get into that. That's gonna be one of the last things we talk about. Yeah. I got some comments on that. Hold that thought. Mm-hmm. Cam, two things. What's some highlights from Toledo? And do you miss football?
Oh man, some highlights. I guess on the field, man, just being able to break through that starting lineup and to be able to, have that ability to play football. Because of the four of us that were all in that recruiting class, I was the last one to get that starting spot. I was behind Storm for a bunch of years, who's having a great career in the NFL. You guys had all major plays and worked your asses off and earned a starting spot. And I was the last one. And man, to finally get that nod and say, hey, you're the starting left tackle, that was like, man, I was over the moon. And then to have that taken away 2 weeks before the season started, it was literally like the last practice of camp. And my right knee, I tore my MCL like 2 weeks before the season was supposed to start. Man, I was devastated. But, being able to come back from that, Mitch Berg played fantastically, being able to come back and play the rest of the year, only missing the first half of that first game, was really special for me. I think off the field, probably the greatest highlight that I have, I love you boys to death, man. But, meet my wife in college, like, man, she has like she's given me purpose, essentially. Like, it may sound corny to some people, but like, man, meeting her, like, it changed my life. And
that's dope.
Luckily, I've been with her 7 years, and hopefully we're going for 70 more.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that was probably the highlight for me off the field. As for do I miss football? No, I don't. I currently coach football at Nordonia High School. For me, the mental side of the game was always where I excelled. I was big. I was a big giant guy, but I felt like my advantage over everyone was just being smart. Like, I heard this.
Campbell knows some football now. Campbell knows some football now.
Oh yeah.
I heard this
football.
I heard this from it was a guy, and he was a Formula One driver. Formula One, for those you don't know, is like the top tier of motor racing. And he was talking about how he goes around the racetrack, and his thing was, hey, your brain's a computer, and the more information you can take in, the more you're able to process quickly. So he's talking about how, like, you don't look at the turn that you're in, you look at the next turn and the turn after that. Say, once I get through this turn, what do I got to do next so I can react that much faster? And I think football is the ultimate sport of, hey, how much information can I take in quickly and then apply that in a very short amount of time to set myself up for success.
Mm.
And I've found that coaching, it like really scratches that itch because it's all the mental side. Like, I can't go, like, our defensive coordinator always says, hey, I know what my stats are. I'm going to have 0 tackles, 0 pass breakups, 0 assist, whatever it is. Like, I can't play. Like, I have to coach. And I think that the coaching side of it has really altered my mind as to, do I miss football? Because I, like you, I didn't play 7 years. I only got 5. But man, I'll tell you what, at the end of that, I was burnt out. I had agents sitting in my living room, like, giving me packets, like, okay, we don't think you're going to get drafted, but here's the 3 teams that we think, are going to give you. And I remember sitting in those meetings going, I don't know if those ribs are looking appetizing right now, man. And they weren't. So,
yeah, I feel it, man. Because that's what it's all about. Are you satisfied? If you're satisfied, move on. And man, I can't speak to your home life, man, but just to talk about that little last comment, I tell people this, and this might, for any Rockets that watch this, or anybody, this might cause a little controversy, just a little bit, because I could be wrong. But to me, man, I think dudes that like absolutely go to the NFL, like through everything that y'all have gone through like 4 or 5 injuries, some guys still keep going and keep trying. Man, them dudes need football, man. And a lot of it might be financial. A lot of it might just be, the way they was raised. Maybe they was raised with nothing, right? I was raised with something. I wasn't raised with everything, but I was definitely raised well, right? My parents did everything they could for me. And I never needed the NFL, man. Like, you know what I mean? I know my parents is cool. I don't have to get my mom out the hood, right? I don't got to get my mom a brand new car. Like, I just don't. And that's a big motivating factor for some guys. It's like not an option not to go to NFL. Like, I have to go. Like, I got to. Like mom's needs me. Granny need me. I'm telling you right now, my grandparents are driving a Mercedes Benz, right? So, you know what I mean? They all right. They're pretty good. So I know I can speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else. But like me and my decision, I could have kept going. Coach Kendall, he hit me up like 4 times. Like when I turned down the draft. Because I was ready for pro day, and the 2 days before pro day, I texted all the coaches. I said, I want to thank y'all. I ain't going. I'm about to go out there and embarrass myself. My knee wouldn't straighten, right? So if you didn't watch the first episode of this podcast as a whole, very first episode, my knee would not straighten. I said, I'm about to go out there. I'm gonna hit 30 reps on bench, and I'm gonna have to decline every workout. I'm not going to the NFL. That's God telling me I'm done. Candle tried to push me, and I was just like, man, I don't need it. I don't need it. Like, you want me to need it, but I don't need it. And I appreciate you wanting me to need it because I'm a pretty good player. But I didn't need the NFL, man.
So speaking of that, going off that, what was your guys's, like, for even this for you, Javon, what was your guys's, like, point? Did you guys have an exact point you guys remember where you guys were like, man, this is it? Because for me, like, mine was the one senior 19 walking out of the hotel room with my back all jacked up, walking like an ass.
My God,
and
Brandon.
B, the second week, it was
like a zigzag.
Brandon was like, bro, look at me. I'm like, Brandon.
Not good.
Brandon, I gotta tell you, man, I laughed at you so hard when you did that. Bro, this winter, I threw my back out at a football practice, and I was walking just like you were. And the thought crossed my mind that, man, I give Brandon such a hard time for this. And I had no idea what this man was going through.
Oh, bro.
Come on, it's game day. I wake up. I'm like, dude, I got my back's tight. I go hop in the shower, get ready for breakfast. Dude, by the time I get out of the shower, get dressed, dude, I walk up and I look like a S with legs, dude. Just walking down, cold sweat coming down.
Was I hurt that year?
Yeah,
because I wasn't at the hotel. He come to the facility. Mind you, I'm at the facility. It's game times in 2 hours. Kickoffs in 2 hours. Here go Brandon, bro. Look at me. I'm like, Brandon, what is wrong with you, bro? Go suit up. He like, bro, I'm done. I'm done.
And then, like, secondly, it was honestly Cam, like when it was like the end of the year when you hit, I think it was your foot or knee or something, and then I got to play some tackle, and that was like that's all I needed to fulfill everything. That was like check that last box to knowing I could play tackle at the next level.
I still think I think you was league ready for tackle. I do. I told you that. I told you that multiple times when I tried
Mentally,
to get you to come
dude,
back.
I was checked.
I wish you came back with me, man. I needed you, man. I needed you. I needed you bad. What about y'all? Y'all got that's a good question. When was y'all, even you, Joe? When did y'all know? I told y'all when I knew. 2 days before pro day. I said I'm done.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I knew. Oh, someone go.
No, go Cam. You got it, brother.
Man, I can remember sitting in a Future Friday. I think it was the winter of our sophomore year. And I don't remember who the speaker was. But he came in and he's like, who wants to make it to the NFL? And like a bunch of dudes raise their hand. And he's like, if you didn't raise your hand, like, I don't know why you're on this football team. Like, if the NFL is not your ultimate goal, I don't know why you're doing this. I can remember sitting in the back row with all the other offensive linemen and being like, man, making it to the NFL is fun. Is great. Like I would love to do it, but it's not my end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember it's my sophomore year. Like, hey, like I love playing college football. I'm like, this is probably the most fun I've had as a whole entire experience for the 5 years. But I just remember thinking as a sophomore, it's not even playing as a second string guy, being like, man, I don't know if the NFL is like exactly my dream or my aspiration, I guess. And I think that was the moment like that I knew, honestly, that man, like I'd love to go to the NFL. I'd love to be able to be a part of that club, but just it wasn't like you said, it wasn't my like ultimate goal. Like I didn't need it. Like it wasn't something that I like was burning for, I guess.
Y'all know a funny story, man, real quick. So I went to the spring game this year. Mind you, at that point, I'm 10 months, 80 pounds down, 10 months of being 220 pounds. Twigs come right up to me. He was like, you wouldn't believe who just hit me up last week. I'm like, who? He said the CFL. They was asking to see if you were still training. I'm like, man, if you need a tight end. But I told her, man, for me, man, just on that NFL note, man, I tell people too, I told people this before. I said, I ain't going to the CFL if it's NFL or nothing. I'm not playing. I'm not beating my body up. Think about y'all hear all these injuries. Yeah. Anybody listening or watching this podcast, you hear the injuries. You know what I mean? I don't look at the finger. I mean, come on now. Them trenches get real, especially in college. Them trenches get real. I'm not beating myself up for $70,000. I'm sorry. I mean, if you do it, I mean, oh my goodness, I got respect for you.
Good for you. I mean,
but I'd rather make $70,000 doing something else, right? You know, if you haven't seen Mr. Harris's counselor's room, it's pretty cool, right? And I got a PS5 in there too, so I'm enjoying my job, right? And I also have other forms of income too, man. So I think I'm doing all right, and I don't have to beat my body up. Jovan, please speak to that. What'd you tell me when I was debating being done? You said, bro, waking up,
it felt good not to be hurting. It feels good not to be hurting. I mean, me personally, like I knew at a very young age I wasn't gonna play that long. When I tore my ACL my sophomore year of high school, I kind of was like, bro, I'm going to college. I'm gonna get this rehab in. I'm going to college. I'm gonna get my undergrad. I'm gonna get this master's, and then that's it. Anything else, like, we'll see. But I don't plan on it. I didn't really plan on playing NFL or going to NFL. And then when I was fortunate enough to go to NFL and go undrafted to the Chiefs. I feel like I was just stealing money from, I ain't gonna lie, from my agent. I was getting a good check every week. The signing bonus I got from the Chiefs, I'm like, I'm stealing money because I'm not gonna step on that field at all. Like, I'm not planning on playing. And so I got to the Chiefs or whatever, and I got cut during COVID or whatever, and everybody disappointed, whatever. I'm like, bro, I'm cool. Like, I already know exactly what I want to do after college. And I noticed like me even pursuing it longer was just me trying to fulfill other people's purpose for me, like whether that's friends, family, or even pressure, like peer pressure from like people around.
Pressure.
It was like, bro, I don't really enjoy doing this. I don't want to get hurt. I don't like getting hit over the head over and over again. Like it's terrible. And I never had that feeling of like, man, I miss football. Like I'm sure Cam and Bryce, what y'all get from coaching as far as that mental game and like understanding the game, going through the process of game week and stuff, but not having to put y'all body through it is amazing.
Bro,
Still getting to work
Joe,
out, being around the kids. Like
I coach
love
my
that
tail
part.
off. I feel it. I feel it.
Want to play though. Never wanted to play.
When I coach my tail off, I'll be bent over, or sometimes my arms crossed. I'm watching football. I'm coaching my guys. People come up to me like, "You miss it, don't you?"
No.
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 I don't. And it's awkward, man, because they be like, "Not at all." You don't miss it a little bit. I'll be like, no.
Yeah. I still have kids. I still have some of my kids, like my student athletes, because I work at Penn State now. Like I be telling them, like, you know what I'm saying, my process of like, they ask me how I recover my body, just little things. And they ask me, do I miss football? I'm like, no. And the best feeling I ever gotten was I had 2 NFL teams sign me. And then I had 2 NFL teams I got to say no to. So like after it was the Chiefs and the Browns, and then I had the Broncos and the Cardinals reach out to me to sign me, and I told them both no. And that's when my agent fired me. It was like, this is dead. So that was like the best feeling that I actually got to step away on my own terms. I'm sure that's a great feeling for y'all too, is that y'all didn't really have to have the door closed in your face and you feel like you needed it and you relied on it.
I do say that. I will say this. I miss, like I said, I need to make this clear. I do miss some parts of football. I miss the locker room. I miss game day. I honestly miss the process more than I miss the games. Games used to be boring for me sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. That process is nice.
But I just don't, it's not worth beating myself up. But what I wanted to say, I
love the process, bro.
I'll be honest. Chandler, tell me if you thought this before, but I still every day, I wonder how I would be as a tight end. I'm 6'3", 220. And let me tell y'all something. I can block my butt off still. I can still block my butt off. Am I a league tight end? No. But I think I can go play D1 and be a tight end right now. When I watch some of these tight ends block in college, I'm like, bro, please let me just go in motion with my knees, get in my 3-point stance and just run through a defensive end's face. I know I got
8th year.
I had a whole dream, bro. I had a full dream last month that I had an 8th year and I took it at Toledo. Coach Kendall and I had a sit-down meeting. It was one of them dreams where, although it was only 6 hours, I went through a whole season.
Yeah.
I was eating. Scouts was looking at me. I was like, I'm really a beast at tight end. I'm eating Miss Barr's food. I don't know how I lived all that in one dream, but that's funny, man. Cam, that you was talking about coaching, man, and stuff. Like, yeah, man, I get everything I need from coaching now, bro. I really don't miss football. It's crazy.
I'll tell you what, man. I was demonstrating a drill today, and I jokingly was like, "Yeah, I still got it." Some kid was like, "You think you could like do well?" I was like, "Man, if you gave me a helmet and shoulder pads, I'd be the best offensive lineman in the state of Ohio right now." Like,
oh yeah, bro, you get
like, bro, you can mop up some of the high school kids.
Oh yeah, bro.
Like,
have you ever demonstrate something in high school and just get an absolute K? Just a big old pancake?
No, I've not done that.
I get them every day, and I swear I tell them every time. They always joke. They be like, "Man, Coach Harris, man, you trolling, you doing too much." I'm like, I was just jogging, and I'll get a pancake. We do trap drill. We doing trap drill. Man, this poor kid, man, I'm like, he's gonna stand here. He's gonna hold the pad right on his hip. We want to pull right, trap what? Trap right. I'm like, all right, bet. So I run through. I said, I'm jogging. I said, so we gonna run through, hit the hip. I use all the Coach Hallis terms. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It's just,
dude, I'm a mini Coach.
I'm like, y'all. So I pull right, trap right. Then I take his hip. I take his what? Take his life. I ran right through it. This dude went like, fell all the way on the ground. They was weak, man, but it happens all the time. I'm like, when you pull one side, push the other, you just drive your feet. And when you hear the whistle, I want y'all to get one last shove. So I did it. Dude fell all the way to the ground, like 5 yards. I'm always getting pancakes. So yeah, man, same thing. Put me in some pads, not even at tight end in high school. Put me at right tackle in high school right now. State's offering me, Georgia. Auburn.
I could get about 3 plays, and then I'm like, I'm sucking wind. I'm tapping my helmet, asking for a sub on the offensive line.
No,
but,
man,
those 3 plays are gonna be deadly, bro. He can run stretch right behind my big ass all night.
Chandler, bro. So let's start with you, man. the comment that you made earlier about the translation or the transition from football to work and how much stuff translates. I have a slight comment before you go. I'm going to be a little more lighthearted than y'all probably will be. But you know, the one thing I'm asking y'all, what's the one thing that you noticed that translates from football to work? And you know what I noticed, y'all? The world is full of complainers. Man, I love my staff because I know some of y'all watch. I love y'all for real. But let me tell y'all something. They be like, oh, I'm so tired, or oh, is the day over yet? We work at an elementary school. You know our work hours? Do you know our work hours? 8 to 3. Man, I'm telling y'all, I'm working. I'm a workaholic. It ain't nothing to me, right? I wake up in the morning, work out, go to work. Then I go to coach football. Then after that, I have AC work with the nonprofit. I grind all day. Gotta still make time for my wife. Gotta make sure the house is clean, right? Gotta cut the grass. I don't complain. Do I have kids? No. But some of these people don't got kids and they still complaining. I really don't got time for it, to be honest. And they know that. But I think that's my big takeaway from football is like, it's just like we were so conditioned. Like when you look at a camp schedule, I know y'all have seen that picture like that be going viral. Like that day of camp for 26 days straight, nonstop, no breaks. When you go through something like that year after year, when you go through that summer routine, when you on a schedule like that and you got school, it's different for you. And my other comment, it's kind of gonna contradict that. These college athletes, they don't understand that they really got it made until you really get out in that real world.
Right.
Okay, so these are two things contradicting. Yeah, they know the process, they know what it means to like have a routine, and they're not gonna complain. But man, dudes, these college dudes be complaining. I'll be like, man, bro, shut up, bro. You really got nothing to worry about but football and school. And literally, you say you're busy. You really done after 4:00 during the season for real. You really are. Like, let's just be real. Like, at least at Toledo, our schedule, like you go to practice, you eat a free lunch, then you go to school until 4-5 o'clock. You're done. You on the game. Like, let's just be real. You about to go play the game and you about to go kick it until the next day. So those are my two comments. But Chandler, man, what have you learned and what's the biggest transition piece from football to work?
So facing some technical difficulties earlier, didn't really get to dive into what I do now for a career. So we'll kind of translate this in. So I'm the lead orthopedic trauma rep for Stryker for Western North Carolina. So Asheville, smack dab in the middle, 2-hour radius around Asheville, all the hospitals, all the doctors. When there's a fracture coming in and they're my customer, they're calling me saying, hey, Chandler, we need you in like 45 minutes for bilateral open femur fractures, like X-Fix on deck. Let's get this thing going, get them up off the table, right? So thankful in saying that I was able to find a career that is, one, sales oriented, that brings the communication side from the game that we all learned. And that is one piece that is huge in any part of life, business, anything. Effective communication is everything, right? Yeah. Secondly, and these are in no particular order, grit, what you just said, Bryce, toughness. Stryker, I don't want to say only, because that's not the truth, but 90% of Stryker's workforce is former athletes, military. So on my team alone, Georgia State baseball, South Carolina soccer, and Navy stuff, right? So you talk
Stryker
about...
just sound like a military.
Oh, 100%.
Weaponry company.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's funny, man. Like our X-Fix system, external fixation is when you have a fracture so bad that it cannot be plated, nailed, fixed internally. So like ankle fracture, right? You get a plate, some screws. It's so bad, so swollen, so open that you got to put pins on the outside of the body and put Lincoln logs essentially to keep these bones reduced and in place, right? Then you come back 2 weeks later after you wash it out, clean out, lower the risk of infection, put the X-Fix on to reduce the bone, swelling goes down. 2 weeks later, we come back in, put the plate and screws on then, right? But that was all developed in the military. So Stryker formed partnership with the military, and we built our XFix system for guys to be able to put these on in the battlefield in combat. So a medic bringing a guy behind the boulders and helping put temporary fixation on his tibia that was just blown open by an IED, right? So anyways,
Oh my gosh.
coming off that, we talked communication, we talked grit, and last but not least, work ethic, right? And I think grit and work ethic kind of go hand in hand, but they are truly different things, right? Because you have people that, like myself, like, you know, I'm internally motivated, right? Like thinking back to high school, like it was me at the YMCA grinding, right? Just me, right? But I think that going along with that, right? When you face adversity, that's where grit and work ethic kind of go hand in hand, right? Because you can be able to go in the weight room, put in that work every single day. But when you step out that weight room and go into life and go into business and you get punched in the mouth, how are you going to handle that, right? Are you going to be able to stay cool, calm, collected in that scenario and be able to identify what the problem is and provide the solution? Or are you just going to drop the ball, right?
Mhm.
Are you going to fumble it? And for me now, we know what that looked like in football, right? But for me now, that's me getting the call from my doc, showing up for my surgery, and I'm thinking plan A in my head. Not everything open. He or she needs to get started and get rolling. But me not thinking, man, what if this fibula is super displaced and we can't put a plate on it? We need to reduce it some way else. Or what if we can't nail this tibia and we need to break out the X fix? And I didn't bring my X fix up from downstairs. And they're like, man, Chandler, like we're not gonna be able to nail this. Like we got to throw some pens in. And I'm like, give me about 5 minutes and I'll be back up. And they're like, dude, come on now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That could result in one, not effective patient care. So that patient is under anesthesia for 5-10 minutes, waiting on me to go grab a set, get it set up. Surgeon's now upset. That can
Right.
affect he or she's performance in the operating room. And so it's just the transferable skills that we build. And I'm in a very intense career where patients are involved and it's life or death, right? But that pressure, that's game time, baby. Let's roll.
Yeah.
Like I go in and I'll fist bump. I'm at a point now where the relationship's so strong where my surgeon, before he starts scrubbing in, it's like, hey, it's go time. We got work to do, right? And
Ooh, I feel like game day for sure.
the trust that gets built when they see that confidence from you, it's crazy that you can empower other individuals. Where when we talked about earlier, right, just about thinking like confidence and talking to people, you know, older than you maybe, or people that have achieved great things, man, at the end of the day, all those individuals were our age trying to identify their purpose, and they still to this day put their pants on the same way we do, right?
Mhm.
So what does that mean for us and for young people growing up? It's, man, be the best you can be every single day and be confident, but back that confidence with the evidence and the undeniable stack of proof of work you've done to know that you're ready to roll whenever you're needed, right? So
Period.
communication, work
Period.
ethic, grit.
Period. What about y'all, man? Who's next?
Hit it, Cam.
Yeah, I think like just the straight up people skills that you develop in any sort of extracurricular, whether that be, you know, for us, it was college football. For some kids in high school, it's band, or maybe it's someone in college that's in the, you know, they're in the drama club, or you're in some sort of extracurricular. Just the people skills that you develop in those fields when you're in a setting that you enjoy and you're around people that you like to be around. How do you handle that?
Mhm.
And then how can you take that experience when you're in a setting that you don't enjoy or you're not comfortable in, or with people that maybe you're not the best of friends with? And how can you take that and use what you know about how to interact with others to make it the best situation for not only yourself but the others in that situation as well?
Yep. Yep. That's real, man. That's real. That's something that not everybody has previous experience with. So you have no choice but to deal with that as a football player. So you ain't lying. What about you, Brandon?
So for me, communication's huge for us. For my job specifically, we have 14 different trades in Cleveland. So all 14 have different different tools, different points of views where they're working from. So there's different descriptions that we have to be able to move and be able to handle on the fly. And that's almost kind of essentially you go through, you think about it like a full offensive line. You got to turn turbos, pass protection. So like for me, I'm protecting our company and our guys from OSHA customers, essentially to follow and holding our guys to our standard and our reputation the name is there. So with that being said, like
I
we
just
have
thought about
to
something. Go ahead, bro. That's why I laugh.
So-
I just thought about Cam, bro. Hold on, bro. Go ahead.
so I'm just sitting there like you got to think about it as a whole group. Like we're one big motor running, so I have to be able to have these guys be able to handle this side from a turbo as a group on this job site. Each other job site can handle this. I got to have my guys, my team. So like my team, a lot of I found a lot of similarities in military. As much as like some people underplay college athletes, like there's a lot of people out there that don't understand like what college athletes are. A lot of them think we're not smart or we don't go through hell pretty much. Like, but military, there's a structure there. We have a structure. Like it's from the start they get up to the time they go to bed. Like there's a set structure, and they all have a mentality where we have to get through adversity but get shit done at the same time. Like in a productive way. So that's what like military has been kind of very similar in aspect of student athletes. And even, I mean, there's been a couple of professional athletes dealing with too, but those two have been in the construction side. They've been correlating really well. I mean, even with Alex Enders, he's working for us now, and he jumps right
that's
in.
dope.
And he goes right in and he's running like he's normally be working. So just a work ethic and able to handle adversity and pressure and perform under pressure.
That's dope. You got Anders, Josh High got Lancia, man. It's cool to see the Rockets come together, man. It's cool to see it. Hey man, but you said that you make sure everybody's good, right? And they doing their job or whatever. Effectively and safe. How come you didn't get that same energy to Cam Bell when he rammed through the with the Kubota and broke the door handle off with the Kubota, man?
Oh my god!
How can you have that same energy, bro?
Oh my god!
Because Hefe was not happy, man.
Hefe was not happy. Hefe dealt with a lot with us.
Last question, man. Last question. All right, and this is kind of going to be our close. What advice would you give in 30 seconds? What advice would you give to a 17-year-old you? Not we ain't even gonna talk about other kids. What would you tell your 17-year-old self, if you could right now?
Believe in yourself. From a statement standpoint, that's everything, right? Like the amount of adversity, trials and tribulations, the ebbs and flows of life, you got to stay true to yourself and believe in yourself. And at the end of the day, when you got to push all chips on black on you, you better be ready to put that whole stack on you, right? And I was talking to someone the other day, and it was actually my newest teammate, my newest associate that I'm onboarding. He's a young guy, he's hungry, and just talking with him about kind of what it takes to do what we do, right? And he was asking me like similar question, like, man, when you got into this and when you and Logan moved, quarter of the way across the country to do this, like what were you thinking, right? And not that I was involved in a long-term career in Toledo when I was finishing up, right? But I took a significant pay cut betting on myself to know what I could accomplish in sales and in the medical field, something I was interested in, right? And I would just say at the end of the day, you got to come back, start from zero, and hopefully you don't got to, but sometimes life hits you in the mouth. You got to be willing to bet on you, invest in you, and push all the chips on black and make it happen. So I'd say just always believe in yourself, stay true to yourself, even if you're the only one, and keep doing you, and always be the hardest worker in the room, period.
Period. Who next?
I go into for me being open-minded, because going somewhere new from like a small town to a larger community with different cultures, different backgrounds, different experiences, with all different new people, new faces, new names. open-minded to what they bring to the table as well, because they be able to bring something to the table that you don't know or don't know how to handle, and they might be able to handle it the same way, the same direction, just in a different tone, a different point of view. And it helps you understand that problem or that adversity. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine would just be, slow down a little bit. I feel like, especially now with how things are with social media and stuff, we kind of came in right as the curve was on the uptick, and it's even steeper now. But like, just slow down, man. Like, no one's pushing you to make any decision. You're 17. Like, you got the whole world behind you. Like, you don't have to know what you want to do as a major in college. You don't have to know what college you're going to go to. Just take it slow, and then just like Chandler said and Brandon echoed it too. Just have the confidence. Like, know that, pardon my French, but like, know you're a badass, man. Like, I always try to tell my kids, that play offensive line, like, you guys are some dogs. You're some war daddies. Like, it takes a special individual to put your hand in the dirt every single play. It's like, man, it's like, just slow down, right? Think things through. And then when you make that decision, have the confidence to stamp your name on it and say, this is what I'm doing.
Period. What about you, Joe?
Definitely going back to like 17-year-old, my 17-year-old self. I wrote some notes down, and one thing is, as far as like fulfilling your purpose early on, and staying disciplined into that, and then in terms of like the culture, I think establishing a good culture, and then looking into the culture of, as I developed and finding my way around certain people, and finding the school and institution I want to go to, definitely staying true to that and understanding like what that looks like early on. But yeah, that's probably it. Sorry, I was a little multitasking. I was doing some other PSU work on the side that I had to do.
One thing I would tell my 17-year-old self, man, and this is very straightforward and short, just lead, man. Like, especially as a young Rocket, I definitely was more reserved. I would tell guys left and right, here and there, about themselves, like our leaders, our so-called leaders of the team, about themselves. But I feel like I waited too late to lead. Like, I was a young team captain, which was cool, but I think I'm not gonna say I would have been a team captain the year before, but I think I would have been able to be more of a leader before that. Other than just doing the right things. We all did the right things. But like, I would tell Kareem if he was being lazy for some reason, I'd be like, Kareem, I'm supposed to be following you. He hated that, right? But that was about the bare minimum. I mean, that was about the highest thing I would do. That was the maximum I would do as a youngin at Toledo. I was quiet, kept my mouth shut. When I knew what was right, what was wrong, I had my mouth shut and I had my opinions in my mind. I wish I vocalized them more. I wish I told some of our peers about themselves more. Art, some people like him, some people hate him, some people love him. That's my boy. So, like somebody like Art as a youngin, I wish I was able to lead him a little bit more, because he led me, right? He helped me, he guided me in certain ways, and I didn't reciprocate that energy as a youngin. It took a couple more years for me to speak up to Art and be like, bro, you crashing out, you need to get it together, right? So I wish I led more. That's it, man.
Yeah. I will throw on. I just added on to that because I did think about this during the interview, and we talked about like confidence and everything like that. I did 17-year-old, my 17-year-old self, as I got into college, I definitely wish I had the confidence to do, like you said, because I think about certain guys that end up going to the NFL and getting drafted. I'm like, man, what if I would have just said something else, like to get like that fire, or just been annoying, that would have pushed them along just even further, and maybe we got in a higher spot, maybe played longer, done something. If I just showed the things that I knew at a younger age, because we were always more mature at a younger age, if I could just bring that out more vocally, other than just showing it through action.
Keeping it up here, man. It's a waste up here, man. It's a waste.
Exactly.
You selfish if you keep it up here.
Honestly, everything we also just described, I mean, with going into the college athletics, the transfer portal, a lot of these young guys, or even some of these little division, the smaller division, trying to transfer up. I mean, if anybody's listening who are athletes below, I think if they have everything we just talked about, they have the right to move up too. I mean, try to transfer up into a bigger division. I mean, like Big V, like look at him. He bet on himself, and he went from a Division 2 to what it was, Edinburgh is what it was at, right?
Yes, bro.
Which I've never even heard until Big V came through, and then you go through and he plays Division 1 ball and then goes to the NFL.
Y'all
So
know
I think
Westmore.
that goes to
Y'all remember Westmore? Y'all know Westmore apartment?
Yeah.
87 degrees outside. I didn't meet him yet. He just moved in. I look outside. Mind you, I'm chilling. I already worked out. I look outside. This dude got a scully on and a hoodie and sweatpants doing sprints in the backyard of Westmore. I said, bro, you different.
You different.
What's one takeaway, 15-second takeaway from this conversation? You got 15 seconds. If you had to have one takeaway that you would like to tell everybody, any listeners, any watchers. I'll start. Mine is very lighthearted. It has nothing to do with this. I would say to still just remember the good memories that you have from your past, right? Although you and I, all of y'all, we don't talk that much. I still think about our old memories, man. Like Chandler, bro, I still, to this day, Janelle hates when I do it, but I'll see something like really sweet or really good looking, like for food. Now, just like you used to, I'll be like Chandler, or you'd be like Bryce. So just remember the good memories and stay true to yourself. Like them days at Edge, man, we crossed the room. He'd be like, Bryce. I'm like, what, bro? Netties. Bryce, Netties. That's all I got, man. That's my takeaway. So who's next, man? Who's next?
Honestly, if we go here, I know just from this conversation, like we said, we all haven't been like keeping in touch very often, but we all picked up where we left off. Like I know that we built a relationship and a brotherhood that we all pick up where we left off previously. And I think it's something that most people don't have in their life with their friends currently. And they might see them every other week or every week. So that's how I feel about that.
That's true, man. That's real.
Believe in yourself. Brotherhood, community, culture is everything. It's okay to be a lone wolf sometimes, but you need a community around you. You need a mentor. You need someone to help pick their brain and guide you to get you where you want to go. And last but not least, don't be soft. Period. That's it.
Yeah. I think probably for me, the biggest takeaway is just be where your feet are and just like appreciate the people around you. I have a good friend here at Penn State, and I asked him how he doing all the day, like all the time. And he's like, man, I'm just happy to have a glass. And where that comes from is you can either be a glass half full, glass half empty. And he was like, man, I'm just happy to have a glass, bro.
Ooh, I like that. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that. I'm going to start telling my coworkers that.
Yes.
That's
and
hard.
Just having a positive attitude and spread that around in terms of like your leadership, culture, and everything, and just appreciate the people around you, like the friends you have here and the roommates you have, and appreciate those moments at a young age, because they're gonna be the memories that you're gonna look back on.
You think it would hit the same if I said I'm just happy to have a gallon, or no?
I'm just happy to have a gallon.
You know what I'm saying? Or no? I should say it. All right, I'll say it. All right, Cam, what's up, man? Take us home.
Man, I think my biggest takeaway is just how much I miss you guys, man. Like, there's so many, like, dude, we got so many memories. Like, I could pull out, like, man, I could put, like, dude, like going to IHOP at like 11:30 at night and stand there getting in a food fight, throwing butter on someone like, across the IHOP, bro.
D. Allen, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to D. Allen.
Shout out to D. Allen falling asleep in the big chair, bro.
Come
He used to come back to the room and D. Allen would be asleep and none of us would be there. He'd just be in our room sleeping.
What's up, bro?
No, man, but my biggest takeaway is just how much I miss everybody and just how much, I'm glad to have you all in my life and know that you guys are people that I can rely on, no matter what. If I haven't talked to you in 3 days or 3 years, like we can still get on a podcast or, whatever it is, a phone call and just talk to each other like we were talking like the first day we moved into 4210 in Ottawa West, man.
That's gonna be the
It's just-
cover of this podcast, by the way. It's gonna be that first picture. So buckle
Well,
up.
you guys also be getting invites here shortly too. Save the dates. So a year from tomorrow.
Ring him. Ring
So
him. Period, man. I love it, man. I miss y'all. I miss y'all, man. I really do, man. Like y'all really my guys, man. And that's it, man. Love y'all boys, man. That's the end of it.
Nice men.
And I'm gonna end on two things.
Man.
You getting dunked on, Brandon, and Cam. It's green grapes. That's it.
Talk, walk that walk. What I gotta say to you to get you off that wall. Baby, I swear you the baddest in the room by far. Come with me and I can turn you to a superstar. Baby, let me tell you that your body really popping. The way you looking right now, girl, there's no one that could top it. Just